Brodes Media.
The Philadelphia Eagles had way more positives than we gave them credit for when we saw the ugly offense. To see that many 3-and-outs, it's hard to even fathom when you have that much skill level. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. It is impossible to see some of the numbers that we see with pressures on Lane Johnson's side with Jordan Mailata. It's absurd what we witnessed, but ultimately, there were still a ton of positives, and I want to roll through them. I actually think it's a positive that they won the game while playing awful. You sucked. The Eagles sucked. They were not good. They were terrible. They won the football game. Now, this won't beat the best of the best when it's cold outside and it's the playoffs, but that's not the point of week one. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, it's basically an extension of the preseason. We live in a different era now where that first few games, you're seeing the live speed for the first time in months. Did you see how nuts week 1 was? Did you watch? Let me ask you a question. Would you buy stock that Joe Burrow is a fantastic quarterback moving forward? Do you think the Bengals will win a lot of games and be very competitive and be one of the last teams standing in the AFC? I would. Joe Burrow was putrid. They lost the game, and they lost it bad. Kansas City lost the game, and it was not gorgeous by any means. You happened to still win. You beat a 500-ish team, so a very mediocre football team where your offense was getting stopped way too easily, and you couldn't get your explosive plays off, which is what your brand is. You have so many players who played so poorly, and you still won the game against an average team in the NFL. Some teams wouldn't even be able to beat a below-average squad with that being the case. A lot, actually. I don't want to sugarcoat it here. There's a lot of teams that would fall flat on their face and start 0-1 if they played as bad as the Eagles did. And they still won. I think doing it ugly speaks volume about what's actually in that room. So that's number one. Number two, let's look at last season. And yes, this is a positive when you compare last year to what we witnessed, because we can't forget that throughout that journey, there were some wins that did not give you a bunch of confidence. They won 20-17 in Arizona. We already referenced week 1 against the Detroit Lions. In Indianapolis last season, they won 17-16. And remember, Jalen Hurts went on a drive to save the day, and it wasn't a good game at all as a team. But I love the fact that your quarterback, with the game on the line, and when the team needed a drive, he was so stellar. I thought the defense had a lot to build off of. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are two studs that will be wrecking the league by the duo. Like, those two are going to take the league by storm. They bring so much, and there's also such a massive emphasis on Jordan Davis and his body, and it already pays off dividends in the first game by popping the ball out, and now you have a turnover. So they created turnovers. They scored off those turnovers. That's an A+ from the defense. I think your defense will continue to kind of brand themselves. Brian Johnson is better than this. He just is. I know that he is. There's no way that you can live with that and truly be as highlighted as he's been. He's a coach that we've been watching through the ranks. Hey, one day he'll probably snag that gig. Shane Steichen is here. He's got a fantastic finger on the pulse. He knows how to call a game, and there is an art to it. He has absolutely mastered the art. One day, Brian Johnson will be in those shoes. We saw what he did in Florida. We watched his career. That's not it, dude. That's not it. You wouldn't be as high on a dude that's giving you 3rd and 9 screens and 3rd and 10 runs and being okay with punting the football back. And don't get me started on what happened before half, because the more and more I process it, it makes me sick. You can't give up. This league is based off of what we watched when the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, faced the Kansas City Chiefs in one of the most epic playoff games ever in the history of the league. How quickly did Pat Mahomes go down there? You need to have that killer mentality. That has to be your identity as an offense. If teams don't fear you then you're not good enough. That's just what it is. You need to be afraid at all times that someone's going to do something crazy. And there's so many playmakers. Go get the ball in their hands and let's make it happen. That Jalen Hurts fumbling that football is strictly on Jalen Hurts fumbling that football. I want it to be known. If you blame Brian Johnson for calling a keeper, and if you think the offensive minds and the strategy was why that specific play happened, you're letting Jalen Hurts off the hook. Jalen Hurts knows damn well that that wasn't his A-plus game. That's why his comments post-game saying, we won, right? We won. We won. That's what we're trying to do. We won. We won. That's because he understands that he played very poorly. They still won. Let's move on. Right? He's not soaking in it. He knows this wasn't good. We won. Let's move on. Jalen Hurts played at an MVP pace. He's that level of stud. I hold him to that standard. If Aaron Rodgers had that game, not good enough. If Tom Brady had that game, not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm not going to deflect what the issue was on the fumble. Jalen Hurts can't take that hit. He's planted that foot and completely annihilated a defender multiple times using that. Either execute better or slide before you get popped. You don't see him get hit like that. That was out of the ordinary. I was stunned to see the ball fly out and him walk back to the sidelines knowing I screwed up. Now, it's nice to see his team step up for the quarterback, and you know that they're going to do everything for that man. He doesn't take shots like that, though. That was more of a, whoa, hold on a second. What just happened? Come on. Good thing we're not we're not Giants fans, right? Oh, my Lord. Is that not funny?